We did it finally. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm saying, and I wanted to really understand more who I was. I wanted to get rid of my toxic traits. I wanted to spend more time alone and not feel like I always had to be doing something. I would say I realized that I needed to have more boundaries with myself. That was one of the biggest things. Like I said, it was like a spiritual journey for me. I started keeping my body nice and tight. I'm so scared. God, please be with me. Oh, give me the words to say. Take a drink. We did it. My hair keeps getting stuck. Guys, welcome to my channel. I'm finally here to talk to you guys and introduce you to something that I wanted to do for a very long time. I'm feeling super scared and I don't know, just anxious and just hoping everything comes out right now. But got a little glass of wine, something small. But yeah, I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna get into it. I don't know what to say. Okay. Take a deep breath. Oh, what is this? Okay. Okay, so my camera just died. I went upstairs to get the charger. The door locked, so I had to have someone come open it. So I'm gonna try to finish this video as best as possible and yeah, stay on track. But anyways, I kind of forget where I was at in this video. I don't think I can do this. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is something I've been working on for a couple of years now, so you guys don't even understand how happy I am to finally be starting this. I wanted to do like a quick introduction just to introduce you guys to me and my channel and give you guys like a small background of how I got here and my vision for the future. Everyone calls me Abiola, just like the more Americanized. I'm 25, I'm born on Christmas Eve, I'm a Capricorn, and I work as a project manager in the biotech and gene therapy industry. So that's as much as I'll get into really about myself for now. But I'll start where the idea of me starting the YouTube kind of stems from. Bear with me, this is gonna be long. I want you guys to fully grasp the purpose of me starting this channel and how much it all really means to me. But if you stay tuned for the end, I'll kind of wrap it all up together and you'll finally understand why I've been talking the whole time. So, okay, my journey kind of started in 2020 when I started personal training as like a side hustle. I started the business called AB Athletics. I did sessions for other OSU students in my spare time. I charged literally only $5 to work out with me, and I only had 3 consistent clients. I was only able to do it for 2 or 3-ish months. That didn't last long because COVID hit, and during spring break they let us know that we wouldn't be returning back to camp. After spring break, life was just really different for me. I haven't been the same since then. I feel like I've changed a lot since 2020, honestly. So I think the very first thing that kind of made things change for me was the first time I've ever spent time in my life alone. It was a lot of alone time because everything was shut down. If you knew me then, you know that I was super involved in literally every aspect of my life. I had multiple jobs. I was doing school. I also did summer school every semester. I was in a lot of clubs and organizations. I did sports. I was always out with my friends. Literally always had something to do every night. The gym to just literally anything you can think of, to be honest. And I was really only home to sleep, shower, and get ready for the next day. I don't know how I had time to do all of that, and honestly when I think about it now, it sounds crazy. Like I could never do something like that today. So when COVID hit, everything shut down, and your girl was low-key tweaking. Like it was such an uncomfortable thing for me to be still. Like everything in my life also was changing too during that time. I was super upset because I finally started that AB athletics business. Couldn't work people out anymore. The gyms were closed and OSU was closed also. I felt like just like I failed like my first business already. So I was trying to figure out what was next for AB. And after spring break, I was getting ready for my last year of school, and my advisor told me that I wasn't going to graduate on time anymore. So that hit me so hard because I was literally doing summer school every summer for years just so I could make sure I finished school on time, because I started running track at a different college, so I knew a lot of my credits weren't going to transfer, so I knew I had some catching up to do. But I still wanted to graduate in 4 years, so I was taking courses every summer, like 1 or 2 classes, and I worked really hard for it. So I finished out the semester, and then it was summer break at this point. And that was when like there was a lot of police brutality, and it was just like a really scary and emotional time for everyone. I mean, especially people of color, obviously. Yeah, it just felt like there was like a huge divide going on in the world. There was like a huge social divide, and everything was really weird around. It was like a black cloud was like over life. Life just felt weird. But after spending so much time alone, my mind was like racing because it was just so uncomfortable for me. So I went through something where I feel like my whole life literally flashed before my eyes. Like it just was so weird because you have so much time, so all you're doing is literally thinking. I was never still before. I was already in an uncomfortable spot in my life, so I was becoming super distant with like everyone because I just kind of felt weird. And when I did hang out with people, I didn't feel like I was there. I was in my own head, to be honest. Like, and then so obviously like I was losing friends around that time too because I just was feeling different. I just couldn't be around certain things anymore. I just had a lot going on in my personal life, to be honest, that I'm just not going to get into on this video. Things just was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And my job shut down, like the area that I worked in, because I worked in the outpatient unit, and they shut that down because they were no longer doing outpatient stuff, only inpatient stuff. So I had to transition into like working in the emergency room, which was really different for me, to be honest. But I just had to deal with so many things working in the emergency room. And obviously it was during COVID. It was literally peak COVID. So it was just like a hard time because a lot of patients were mad. Everyone was sick. I was scared that I was gonna get sick. It was just super, super stressful. And there was so many patients and people coming in for their mental health. During that time, like I felt like my mental health was suffering because I was just in such an uncomfortable spot in my life. It's just triggering for me to be around like so many people coming in for their mental health too, because I feel like I resonated with them. And literally like during my shifts, like I would just be so emotional. I just remember at work, I would just always go to the bathroom and start crying because I was just like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain it to like other people. And I'm really not trying to get into every single thing. So bear with me. Around that time, I just started having these really unhealthy habits because I didn't know how to. It was summertime at this point. So all I was doing was like getting some wine, drinking wine, eating good. Like I would get so many snacks, and I would literally just watch TV from like morning to night if I didn't have work. Even if I was let me not say that, but I literally gained like 25 pounds at this point. Like it was crazy. One day I just remember I was just so deep into thought and like, who am I? What am I? Like, what have I done? Like I started thinking of every little embarrassing thing that's ever happened in my life. Anything that like was bad or like negative that I did, every traumatic thing that I ever experienced in my life literally just popped up because I was alone so long, and I feel like I never had time to be alone, so I just kind of pushed things away. I would just be on the go, so I didn't deal with anything. I didn't even really push it down. I just never had time to focus on it. I started having like this really bad anxiety. Everywhere I went, like I just was so anxious. Even the grocery store, like I just wanted to get in and out. I didn't go anywhere. If people invited me somewhere, I would literally sit in my car for like an hour before I would go inside. I was like, what is going on? The anxiety was getting worse. Like I would just be in my room so much. I obviously only spent time at like work and in my room at this time. So I literally felt like the walls were closing in on me, and I just fell into like a really bad, dark place, to be honest. That's when I hit my breaking point because I was like, oh, I was so sad at this point, and I was like, I'm not living my life to be sad every day. Like I was sad, I was uncomfortable, my mind was racing, I didn't know how to deal with it. I was just like super depressed, to be honest, and I low-key felt like I was losing my mind. For a while, I got tired of feeling like that. I just did every single thing in my power to get better because I was like, like this right here is gonna take me out. Like I gotta get my mind together. So the very first thing that I did was I got a therapist because I was like, I don't know what's going on in my head, but I needed to talk to someone because I knew I couldn't do it alone because I had never tried to cope with anything or think about my thoughts. I literally remember like during my shift, because I would just be so emotional at work because it was the only time I had to leave my house, and I went on break and I just called my school because I was like, that's the easiest access that I can think of to a quick therapist. Like my school has therapists. So I guess you're on a like real long waiting list, which I didn't know. I talked to a lot of people and they were like, yeah, I never got a therapist. They clearly knew I was going through it because I called and I was just crying. I was like, I need to talk to someone. Like, dang, it's so sad thinking about that because I was at such a low spot in my life. But anyways, yeah, so I got a therapist ASAP. I deleted all my social media. I just stopped watching TV because I was like, this is literally all I do every day. I got back into the gym like real consistently. And then I started really talking to God, like begging him to help me like get happy again. Then I started trying to eat healthier, no more alcohol either. And those were the things that I felt like were like a given when you're trying to get yourself back on track, you know what I mean? But then I just wanted to take it a step further. So I purchased this self-help book called Good Vibes, Good Life. I'll put the book up here and I'll show you guys, and I'll also link it below so you guys can purchase it. But basically, that's when everything started shifting for me, like looking at things from a different perspective. It's like the holy grail for me. It's what really started like my real healing journey and my journey to real, genuine happiness in life and bettering myself. So I learned so much about taking care of yourself, and it really hit me then because I was like, obviously I was going through so much of stuff in my past. That's all I could focus on during this time. And it hit me like, yeah, I've done a lot of embarrassing things or stuff that I feel shame about or just things that I didn't like in my past, but that didn't mean I have to remain that person for the rest of my life. So I just began focusing on all the amazing things that I actually did have to offer, all the amazing things that were going on in my life. And I was trying my best to look at all of the bad things more as less, just focusing on the future rather than the past, because I was living in my past during this time, and that's why I was so unhappy. So from that moment on, I just got super, super obsessed with becoming like a better version of myself, loving my life. Not only started eating healthier foods during this time for my physical health, but I started realizing the negative effect that the bad food had on mental health, and I was super pressed to like get my mental health back up, you know. So I cut out everything about was my mental health. I was like, no, I don't want anything bad in my body, in my soul, in anything right now. Like I just want to be healthy, period. I started digging deeper into my mind, meditating, journaling, yoga, all of that stuff. It was super new to me, but it was something I had to start doing every single day because it just felt so good. It just had me feeling so good to connect with myself and understand my thoughts on a deeper level, which was something that was completely new to me. And I love doing it. Focusing on being the very best version of myself and forgiving people in my life. I was trying to do everything good. Like I just really wanted to be the best me possible. And the book was just giving me like all of these good lessons and good things to do and stuff like that. So I literally started to feel the best I've ever felt in my whole entire life at this point. I was so happy. I was healthy. I was just so happy. I remember I always used to have bad road rage, which I still kind of do a little bit. But I remember during that time, like people would be cussing me out and I'm driving. I'm just driving like all happy. Like nothing could have brought me down during that time. And then I just wanted to figure out like my triggers and why I am the way I am and how I was the problem in past situations, how I could be better in the future. And I just wanted to be my best self. And I felt like I was truly connected to a higher version of myself. But it was tough because trying to be a better version of yourself isn't easy. And it takes a lot of discipline and trial and error. But it was the first time in my life that I started seeing like all these angel numbers, literally every single angel number, especially 1111 and 111. Those were the ones I seen the most. And I just knew that it was like a sign from God to not give up and to just keep going and that I was on the right path. So I ended up relaunching AB Athletics shortly after that. I decided to start making workout videos online because the gyms were still closed at this point, making customizable workout plans for people to lose or gain weight. And I was just in such a good place in my life. And I had a good connection to the gym because it was helping my mental health too. So I connected a new passion for my mental health and the passion for fitness, and I relaunched it as A Body.
I will not be held hostage, waiting on people to open the door for me. I will get up and grind, create my own door and put myself on, because I am a queen. I am hungry, dedicated, fearless, a warrior of God who believes all things are possible to her that believe it. I am disciplined. I am committed. I am dedicated, young, rich, and motivated.
And my slogan was fitness for the mind, body, and soul. Because over the last couple of months, I realized how important it was for me to take care of all of me instead of just my physical health, which was what I mainly was using the gym for. I just want to say, like, happy September, everyone. I said I was going to be back in September, so I just want to start everyone's month off, say something motivational, because that is exactly why I transitioned to A-bodied fitness. It was way more than just athletics to me. Like, I had to realize, like, A-bodied fitness is fitness for the mind, body, and soul. You cannot have a healthy body if you do not have a healthy mind. So it really starts within. I wanted to show like a real raw uncut version. Like, I'm going to be even showing like vulnerability, and I want to show you guys like exactly why I'm here, exactly, you know, what I'm here to do, what message I'm here to send. Yeah, I was at a spot where I didn't know what I wanted to do with the business. That was really in the back of my head at the time, just because I was also out of body. Like, I didn't feel like myself at all for like a couple weeks. I couldn't even explain to like one of my friends, you know, like they were asking like, what do you mean? I couldn't even explain what I was feeling. So I really just took time for myself, and I think it was honestly the best thing I could have done. As much as you can love yourself, you have to take care of yourself. And I never even knew that. Like, I've always known what self-care was, but I never knew that you really actually need time for yourself. And I always thought people were crazy if they needed time for themselves. But no, I've learned a lot, really like a changed mindset. Like, this is all like a new lifestyle. But yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot. I've always overextended myself. I never took time to just be by myself. I was always here, there, and that will really make you crazy. Like, didn't have boundaries with myself, so I of course didn't have boundaries with other people. I didn't even know, like, so yeah, it was just a lot of thinking, a lot of personal growth, and I really want to show you guys like how I got here. And I do feel like everything happens for a reason. Yeah, a lot of tough things and like crazy things have happened in my life. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I'm just finally at that spot where like I feel like this is exactly what God wants me to do. Everything happened at the right time. I was very upset in the beginning of quarantine because there was like 3 trips I couldn't go on anymore right after 2. And I'm just looking back, like, I was so upset because I put so much effort into like this essay that I had wrote to go on this trip, and I finally was like selected, and just there was another business trip I was gonna go on. Like, I'm just like, why is God doing this to me? Like, I worked so hard to be like chosen for this trip, and then also to like go on this other trip. I couldn't understand why, but God needed to slow me down. Like, think about it, if I really would have went on those 5 trips in a row. I went on 2 and I was already very tired on the second. Like, these trips were back to back. Like, if that honestly would have happened, I had a lot of, you know, like aspirations, like, oh, on this trip I'm gonna get an internship, oh, on this trip but if I would have been so tired to do anything, what could I have even accomplished? So yeah, I got over that after a while, because I'm just like, God slowed me down because he needed to teach me a lesson in life. And with all this alone time I gave myself, you know, like forcing myself not to go anywhere and to just be alone and learn to say no, be there for like just myself, really, man, it was worth it. And hopefully I'll get these trips in the future. But anyways, I just wanted to say, like, it's not like I necessarily didn't like the life I was living, but I just knew that I wasn't the person that like I could have been necessarily. Like, I overextended myself a lot. That's extremely unhealthy. But yeah, like, I was there for other people before I was there for myself, and that doesn't even make sense. Like, it's okay to have a big heart and stuff, which is what I've learned. But 1, you can't help other people if you can't help yourself first. 2, when you're constantly like putting your emotions in so many places, it's like I carried around my own stuff, but I also carried around everyone else's stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a big heart and caring about people a lot, but it made me a monster because like I just had too many emotions I was holding on to, and little things would make me mad, and I would just be so stressed out with my own life. It would come out, and it's not me, you know. Like, I really had to be like, okay, I be lit, but you can't get mad when people say these things about you, because it is you. That's what you're showing people, you know, like blah, blah, blah. So I just had to really take time for myself. You literally create the life that you live. You have to change your mindset. You have to change what you're doing. You have to change. I'm not perfect. I'm going to continue to keep saying that. Yeah, like everything definitely has happened for a reason. I feel like this is really what God wanted me to do. I know that sounds corny, but I feel it, and I'm going to continue to like tell you guys more. Still uploading workout videos, but I put a twist to the ebooks that I was selling. They were no longer customizable because that took a lot out of me. And instead of just workouts, I added a routine for early birds and night owls. And then each workout had a video that I attached, like demonstrating how to do the workout. There was a link to sign up for motivational text to be sent to your phone every single Monday. And then I had a portion where I talked about the importance of taking care of your mental health. And I had a whole section for like healthy foods and just a lot of other things as well. Along with the ebooks, I also sold fitness gear and resistance bands. The thing about the A-Bodied relaunch though was that I had this accountability group chat that I created. It was like 8 to 10 women, and we did check-ins with each other on how to journal, the best way to like make journaling effective for you, and how your workouts were going. We would all text each other like videos of us in the gym, keeping each other accountable. And it really fulfilled me because I was helping others on their journey as well. At this point, business was growing and my vision for everything was just growing too. Everything was really just coming together so nicely now that I was focusing on myself. God was kind of just like opening these doors for me, or showing me where I should go, and it was just such a perfect time. This is when I had the idea to officially start the YouTube so I could post the fitness videos that I had in the ebook. And then I also wanted to talk about my journey, connecting to myself and finding myself and reaching like my genuine happiness and healthiness in life, and how I picked myself out of a really dark place. So before school started back up again, I was in such a good place, but I just couldn't live with the fact that my advisor told me I wasn't going to graduate, because I was like, I'm not going to do a whole nother year just for, I think it was a couple credits or a couple classes that I needed. And then I thought about it like, you know what, my advisor is giving me that advice because he probably has hundreds of students. Who knows, even thousands maybe, I don't know. So he wasn't going to do the extra work to figure out how to make it possible for each student to graduate. One night, I was like, you know what? Let me figure this out, because I feel like God expects more of me. Like, I'm not just gonna have someone tell me I can't do something and just live with it. I literally spent until like 4 a.m. rearranging every single class to figure out how it could fit out in a way that I could still graduate. I spent hours like remixing every single class, and then I finally figured out a way. The only issue was that I think we could only do like 19 credits maybe, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure. The way I figured out to get all these courses that I needed, it was like 21 credits or so. So I was like, oh my goodness, like hopefully there's a way I can just take more credits. So I was just praying, finally got to meet with my advisor, and I told him, and he was like, oh yeah, that's an easy fix. Like all you have to do is sign this petition to get like 3, I think, more courses. You have to just do more courses than you're allowed to do. So I got the petition signed and everything literally worked out. And I was just like, wow, everything is so good. Like now that I'm deciding to focus on myself. Senior year started, and along with everything I had to do for my business, I had to ship orders, run the business, run the website, send motivational texts out, and just so much more for the group chat also. I had to juggle my job at the time. I started an internship as well because it was my senior year. So I had to start thinking about my future. And I was also on 2 executive board committees at the time. So I was running like 3 Twitters, I think, and 4 Instagram accounts literally at the same time. And I was also taking more credits than you're allowed to take. At this point, I was just super stressed out, and it was my last year of college. So it just put a lot on me, and because I didn't want my grades to drop. After almost a year of nonstop working with all of those things going on at the same time, towards the end of the year, I was extremely stressed. Like I remember I started getting panic attacks in my sleep because I felt like I always had something to do. Like I would literally go work, school, work on my business, do the e-board, just nonstop working all the time. So when I went to sleep, I was like, oh my God, you're missing something. You didn't do this, da da da. And then my face started breaking out. I got this terrible cystic acne. I'm gonna put a picture up, but it was literally on every single spot of my face. I had painful cystic acne. And they told me it was because I was so stressed out. At that point, I had to think of something because I was like, okay, I'm like about to burn myself out at this point. So the only thing I could really put on pause was the business. I couldn't stop school, couldn't stop work. I couldn't quit my internship, So I just had to stop doing the business at that point. Finally graduated, and I was super burnt out at this point. Not only from my last year of college and everything that I was trying to do that year, but just from my whole life. Because like I said, like I've always just been doing a lot, trying to do stuff for my future and stuff like that. I was going to take a whole year off because I just wanted to relax for the first time, like just not do anything, not have to think about going back to school, not doing any classes, completely stop doing everything until I got myself back together. And I really thought this would be the best time to launch A Body, because I'm like, you're not doing anything else, just focus on your business and yourself right now. Someone to help me figure out my brand and just make it a little bit better and dig deeper on my passions and where I kind of want the business to go and what my end goal of everything was. She gave me 2 certifications to do. One was about dieting and one was about mental health, because those were the things that my business was really focusing on. I did the mental health one super fast. Like, I finished it, I got my certificate, and really loved digging deeper into like the mental health portion of it. But the one about dieting, I don't even think I finished it to this day. It was just so much information. I also wanted to get better at like my fitness skills. I was trying to work towards becoming like a certified personal trainer and just trying to figure out like which workouts went with what body part and how they affected each body part. And I just could not get myself to really like dig into that, and I couldn't really get myself to focus on it. So again, it was just overwhelming because I just finished school and I was forcing myself to like do this, but my brain was fried at this point. So this is when I decided to just stop everything completely, and I was like, you know what, during this actual year off, just relax. Like, let the business idea come to you rather than forcing yourself to be like, oh, you got to restart this again, because people, you feel pressure when you put your business under construction and people are asking you like, when are you going to start A Body again? I'm like, can I breathe? Like, please. So during that time, I just was focused on making money and trying to get myself back together. So I started working off as a bottle girl. I did bartending. I was still working at the hospital, just stacking my money up, to be honest. Trying to get back to myself, because when school took over my life that last year, I fell off of my workout routines because I didn't have much time. I fell off my mindfulness routines, like the yoga, meditation, journal. So I was really just trying to get back to that and find a good routine for myself now that I was out of school and I had a lot more free time. I started getting into a pretty good routine, and I was healthy and was glowing again, and I spent a lot of time alone, like, because I was trying to be patient and let my vision for the future kind of come to me rather than forcing it. So after realizing how hard it was for me to stick to doing research about the food and the workouts, I realized that my real passion was speaking about like the mental health portion of your overall happiness and how it plays a role into your life. I want to be open about my journey in life and how I've been able to pick myself up after going through tough times, stressful times, and how I've been able to grow over the years after discovering how to really take care of myself during COVID. Realized that I just wanted to show me as myself and not relaunch the brand, because I was so heavily focused on the physical fitness aspect of it all. That's not all that I wanted to portray at the end of the day. I was like, you know what? I'm my own brand, and I wanted to just focus on myself at this moment, and I wanted to be the best at Biola and not overcomplicate anything for myself by trying to do business. So about 9 months into my year off plan is when I started my career search, because I was like, I worked so hard to, get my degree, and I was working as like a bartender, working in the clubs and stuff like that. And I just was like, I didn't feel fulfilled, and I was kind of getting tired of it, like, after 9 months. So I spent months after months looking for a career that aligned with my future. Like, I was super picky about my career. And after about 8 months of searching, it was so hard for me, and I started getting down because I was like, wow, like, I just got this degree for nobody to hire me for something that I wanted. It was just getting harder to stay dedicated to finding a career that fit me. At this point, I was 23, and it was the beginning of September, so it was the start of the 4th quarter of the year. I had 4 months before I turned 24 on the 24th of December. So I was like, I felt like 24 was going to be my golden year. Like, I've always said that, because that's when I turned 24 on the 24th. So I got super serious around this time, because I was like, 24 is my golden year. Like, I wanted to just get super serious before I turned 24. I wanted everything in my life to work out. So I wanted to get a career that I loved. I wanted to get my own apartment. I wanted to get a new car, and most importantly, I wanted to get serious about posting the YouTube videos. So I got real serious with everything in my life and just started working overtime with everything, no distractions. Began vlogging this 4-month countdown, and all of those things that I just mentioned, I was able to do in that 4 months. So I finished recording it. Little did I know it'd be a whole nother challenge editing these videos, finding time to actually post them. So that kind of gives you guys like a loose background of how I got into the YouTube. And now I want to talk about kind of why it took so long and what my actual goal for this channel is. So bear with me, just keep watching. So as I mentioned earlier, I was able to get an amazing career in October, about 9 months into my job search. I thought it would be easy for me to balance everything because I'm used to doing so much, but working a regular 9 to 5 in a brand new field that I knew nothing about was literally the most humbling experience ever. The job and be like a 6 a.m. gym girly, meal prep, Pilates, all of that stuff. Start editing the videos, posting the videos. But literally all I could do when I got off work was lay down on my couch, watch TV, and just wake up and do it again. Didn't have the freedom that I had before when I was like making my own work schedules and school schedules. So it was super hard for me to adjust, just going straight somewhere in the morning and then being there all day. Like my morning routine was pretty important to me at this point. I was just adjusting and my routine fell off again. Also adjusting to, living alone now, it put a lot of pressure on me. Something I'd never done before. So it was just a really transitional time, like getting into my career, living alone. I was just officially an adult at this point. Super grateful, but at the same time, I just wasn't pleased. Like I just wasn't happy. It was just an overwhelming time for me. Just another new chapter in my life. Throughout 2023, transitioning and adjusting to everything, it was just a time where I felt like I was holding on by a thread. My job was so much work. I was learning so much, all these new things. I was going through imposter syndrome because I'm just like, I was just working as a bartender in a club. Like now I'm here and like doing all this official, super professional stuff that I'm used to doing, but not at this level. So it was just a struggle for me to take care of myself because my work was just draining me, honestly. So I just spent a lot of time alone because one, I was just super tired all the time. I had these goals that I wanted to reach, but I didn't feel like I had the energy to work towards them after work. And anytime I did go out and hang out with my friends, I would feel super guilty and super hard on myself because I'm like, you should be at home posting this video that you just had been working on for so long. And my biggest struggle, honestly, was just battling the laziness. Like I felt like I was being lazy, but I really wasn't being lazy. I was just trying to do as much as I could in a day, and it was just hard for me. But yeah, I would just be super tired after work. When I was like, I don't understand how people do anything after work, but I didn't want to be that person that just worked and did nothing else because I feel like that's how I would have became unhappy. And you guys can tell by now that I'm super hard on myself, always aiming to do better. And whenever I did something that didn't align with the person that I wanted to be, or I did something that I didn't like for instance, working on my anger and stuff like that, trying to control my anger and stuff. Whenever I would take my anger out on someone else, I would just get super down, getting these moods where I convinced myself like, I am not the person that should be making YouTube videos. Like I would just be embarrassed about myself. Then I would just take time off from editing. I would literally take months off. Again, it was a super transitional time in my life. There were times where I just felt like I needed to focus on myself. Obviously, I wanted to help people through the things that I helped myself with, but I needed to take care of me first because I couldn't pour into anyone's cup if I didn't have nothing to pour. So that held me back a lot of the time because I was just like, I want to be happy and content in my real life first. That was my main priority. Another huge thing that held me back, I think it was just hard to see myself in that light, still is. And it just seemed like a lot of work because I had created content before with A-Body and AB Athletics, and it gets so overwhelming. So I just was trying to take as much pressure off of myself and, asking God to just not make me feel so overwhelmed when I went to edit things or wanted to get started with things again. And I just wanted to remain as true to myself as possible. The constant fear of just so many things held me back so much, but living a life where I wasn't chasing my dreams was way harder. I wasn't ever going to be fully happy and content. I wasn't doing something that I wanted so badly and that I had worked so hard for. I realized the pain of possibly failing, the pain of embarrassment couldn't be worse than the pain of not trying it at all. And to be honest, even if I did fail, God forbid, I only see it as redirection. AB Athletics became A-Bodied, and now A-Bodied has become this. I'm just going to continue to grow and keep trying and go where God takes me. Who knows where I'll be in a couple of years, but it's God's plan and it's not mine. So I'm just going to continue to follow that path and see where it takes me. I obviously do have an idea of where I want to go with everything. So as 2023 finally came to an end, I finally started finding balance between all the areas of my life again, and I went back to things that I learned when I first started this journey back in 2020. It's been such an amazing couple of months so far, and I honestly feel so connected to my purpose again, and I'm getting the hang of working and also having a life outside of work and finding balance between taking care of myself as well. And I want to be very, 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 very clear when I'm recording these videos. that me speaking on working on myself doesn't mean that I've mastered anything. As you guys can see by now, it's just an up and down journey for me, re-shifting and refiguring things out. A journey of healing my past, a journey of working on myself, and a journey of being the best version of myself and eventually reaching my full potential. Sometimes I feel like I'm on point, and sometimes I fall down and I feel like I can just barely recognize myself. But I'm being open about all of this because I really want to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, and let people know that it's a never-ending journey. It's all about just restarting and finding yourself again. So last year I started just giving myself so much grace because all I can do is try my best every day and just continue to keep going, which is something I'm still working on. I remember I stopped working on every single thing whenever I messed up somewhere in my real life, and I would tell myself I wasn't good enough to be on here and preach about anything or give anyone advice, but that's not true, and I'm done feeding into that. Either way, I've come such a long way since COVID 2020 me, and I just need to focus more on how far I've come rather than the mistakes I've made, backtracking that I've done along the way. Life is full of ups and downs and transitions, and it's all about returning back to yourself. My main goal too is to make others feel comfortable about things rather than hiding it or feeling like they have to act a certain way when they're actually not feeling. I'm that friend that always want people to vent to me or tell me things I want to dig deeper and know about people, why you are the way you are. But yeah, overall I just want to make people feel normal for what they feel. So I want to make it a point on here to come in and talk about the way I feel about things as well. Because before I started taking a lot of time for myself, and even now sometimes, like, my emotions used to be literally all over the place. And as a result, I just always felt crazy. Like, I was just like, am I the only person that reacts to things like this? Like, it sucks because I felt like nobody understood or tried to understand. I have all these reactions, but honestly, I couldn't even understand them myself. But yeah, I think it's normal to feel unhappy at times or to feel overwhelmed. And the more we act like it's not, I feel like that just adds to a larger problem. People feel like they have to suffer in silence, or they feel like nobody can resonate with them, or they feel like they're going through things alone. And that just leads to so many other things that honestly I'm not going to get into today. I'm just happy on the internet, and it's important to be happy in real life also. Along with that, I really want to do my part in making therapy more of a normal thing that people talk about. I think it's gotten better over the years. There's still a stigma that you're just crazy if you go, or you need help or stuff like that. And I know I was in a position where I was going through a lot. I was in a bad place, and that's why I got my therapist at the time. But overall, I do think that everyone should be in therapy. I don't think you necessarily have to go through anything to be in therapy. Yeah, I just want to do my part in normalizing that also, and bringing awareness to it and making it just more of something we can have a normal conversation about. Another reason I'm doing this is because I want people to know that just because there's a version of yourself that you've always been, or there's a version of yourself that everyone sees you as, that doesn't mean that you can't create a new reality for yourself. It was a tough thing for me that I'm honestly still dealing with now, because again, it's just a journey. People would think of you as something. You feel like you have to stay that thing, stay that way. But you create your own reality at the end of the day, and it's nobody's life to live but yours. Like, if you want to wake up tomorrow and decide to be a completely different person, you can do it. It doesn't happen overnight or even over a couple of years. To start somewhere. You have to let go of that version of yourself that you don't want to be anymore, just because you're scared that people are going to have something to say, because at the end of the day, people are always going to talk. I want to dig into the things that have really helped me reach my goals to this day. And overall, I've just really realized that I have a passion for truly connecting to myself and trying to figure out like the highest version of myself and my most happiest self. And I want others to do this. I want to put a huge emphasis on the fact that I don't have everything figured out. I don't think I'm perfect or I'm special in any certain way. Like, some days I don't even feel like I'm anything. Like, I always keep going, and I feel like I have made a lot of progress. So I'm hoping that on this journey, now that I'm sharing it with other people, I can have more drive behind it, continue working and doing the work so I can push myself to continue growing in other areas, and I can continue to do what I love doing. It's gonna just force me to go harder and harder every day, now that I know I'm sharing it with other people. But yeah, on a lighter note, I just have so many topics that I really just want to talk about. But along with these type of videos, I definitely want to just show you guys my daily life as well. I've always loved making YouTube videos, even when I was a kid, so it's definitely like a full circle moment that I can finally do something that I love doing. I'll be recording my daily life, working out, traveling, stuff like that. So yeah, there'll be all types of videos also. But the next couple of videos will be a 4-month countdown to my 24th video, the one I was referencing earlier. And then I do have another video that I made when I got my veneers done. People ask me about these all the time, so I finally want to drop that video because I recorded that in like 2021, I think. But yeah, this is just the beginning, and obviously like it's very scary to put yourself out there, but I'm hoping that I can attract the right people and I can find the drive to continue to keep this going. So yeah, here goes nothing. Cheers to new beginnings.